Okay, guys. So this is the word trans. Okay. Might be a little flip backwards or whatever, but trans. And I don't mean like transgenders and stuff. I'm saying the root word trans, right? Okay. This is what came to mind, and I just felt like I needed to share this because this idea kind of like just came to me. um, excuse me. Okay. Um, but even just down to this Mercury being in Sagittarius, okay, is it's all about translating, okay, transmuting, okay, even down to transportation, okay. But I also started to think of trance and like putting people in a trance, okay, and it made me think of the word because this is a very familiar word, but the N word, right? The N word. Okay, so it's like, okay, so I was thinking, right, and it kind of took me back to a time, back in time. And I started thinking about first, where did this word even come from? Who started this? Who created this word? Okay, and it's just the power of words in itself and um, the intention behind the words. Okay, like it's very powerful. So I think even just with this word, the N word, the end. Okay, the end. This is like one of the greatest examples, I think, because it has so much like baggage to it, energy behind it, more so negative. You know what I mean? But it's a powerful word, as in it holds a lot of weight. With the word, you're able to, because that's what started coming to me. With the single word, they were able to put people in a trance with a single word. And then I started to think of the movie Get Out. I was about to say Get Up. Yeah, it's time to get up too, goddamn. Wake up. But I meant Get Out, the movie, right? And it's almost like the lady who had the cup, the teacup. And when she hit the cup, right, when she tapped it, he went into the sunken place. But ultimately he was in a trance. Right? She put him in a trance. Okay? Or in a sunken place. So therefore he was no longer in control over his thoughts. He was no longer in control really at all. He was now controlled by the controller. So I was thinking about that with this word specifically, but just words in general, right? And the power of words and the power of intention behind the words and putting energy behind it. Ultimately, this is a spell. This is witchcraft, right? This word, I'm saying, I'm just using this as an example though, but this is a form of witchcraft because for generations, all I had to do was say the one word, and I can put you, your mama, your children, and your grandchildren to come in a cell. And I'm talking about a mental cell. Okay? I can put you in a sunken place. I can trap you physically and mentally and spiritually just by using a word. Trans. To change. So I was kind of thinking on it and meditating on it. And I'm thinking like, well, shit, you can really do that with language in itself in general. You could do that with any word. You know what I'm saying? And reprogram your mind, because ultimately that's all it is they're, a program. They're putting you under some type of program, but it's their program. So from the beginning, when they first started calling certain people the N-word and labeling them and projecting, ultimately that's what it is a projection, which is also a form of translating or transmuting energy. Okay, but in this sense, it was in a negative way, in a negative light, but ultimately it's to put you in a sunken place, and it was to control you, and people fell for it. You see, people fell in it. So I think it's just in general the power of words. Again, I feel like it's also significant here with this Mercury and Sagittarius transit. Literally transit, again with the trans, okay, word. But trans is about change and shifting and movement, right? And moving of energy, delivering or a delivery as well, or something like that. Okay. It almost makes me think of, like those doctors that put you under hypnosis. That's what I think of. Just like how the lady did, she was a psychiatrist or whatever the fuck, or psychologist, but she put him in a hypnosis or in a trance because she had to just use a trigger word for him or a sound or whatever. So I get that same idea where we can do that with ourselves and reprogram our minds, reprogram the way we think. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share that. Like, I just felt like that was significant here, and I just wanted to share that. I just think more people should know that. The power of words, the power of the mind. So you have to understand that someone not only created this word, the N word, but they also created these letters to create this word. They also created the alphabet. They also created this language. You see. So when these people, okay, choose to use certain words for it, because they know that certain, people are ignorant and spiritually still asleep, they know they can easily put people in a trance, okay? And they can easily control and influence your mind and your thoughts, okay? And your perception of yourself and reality by creating, right, a word or a language or, whatever, and then putting energy and intention behind it. But to make it powerful, you need power behind it. And a lot of times what's the saying? It's like teamwork make the dream work, or the more the merrier, or, it's better in numbers or whatever, right? However you want to look at it, whatever saying you want to use, okay? But usually, especially when it comes down to like rituals and energy work like this, it becomes stronger and more powerful or whatever, or potent, when you have more people who believe in it, right? Or who are emotionally attached and tied to this, or who are, also like using and saying and just pretty much just putting energy for the most part into the word. It basically, you're giving it energy. So therefore it has more power, or it has more of an impact now. you see. But ultimately, it's still something that we're doing. It's not like this just a word that just magically came out of like nowhere, and it just magically has this meaning. And no, like everything is created. Everything we have created and we give meaning to and energy to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about how it's used against you with certain things. So now, and the more that we learn and the more we become aware and enlightened, we can be more aware and we can see what's going on and know better, right? So that we could do better. And instead of being a victim and allowing them unknowingly to put us in these trance states and in these sunken places and shit like that, and to easily manipulate us through you know this shit, we can use it against them. And how you use it against them is you learn to use it for you learn to make the weapon that was formed against you a weapon used like to protect you or something, like, if that makes sense. Like the weapon that was formed against you. So for example, the N word. Okay, what's the verse? What's the prayer or the spell? No weapon formed against me shall prosper, right? So this a weapon, right? A weapon ain't just physical, like a gun or a knife, or a weapon can be words. A weapon can be your mind. You know what I'm saying? But words are definitely a powerful weapon, more powerful than using your physical hands. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the smart people know that. That's why they be in the positions they be in, while other people out here thinking it's... Anyways, okay. I just feel like it's... I wanted to say something else, y'all, but I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it right now yet. So I'll save that for later. But yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to pretty much share this, because I kind of thought that was interesting, that came to my mind. And I really thought on it, thought about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to share it with the collective. But also, too, I wanted to say, again, like, we can reprogram our minds, and you might want to, especially if you are someone who is still kind of like lost, or if you're still very like emotionally attached to like race and just a lot of like things created excuse me, y'all, things that were created of the world, and like just human concepts and shit like that we became attached to and made a part of us. Okay, like race. Okay, like being a white cracker, or being an N-word, or being a fucking, I don't know, whatever else is in the world. It's interesting. Yeah. One more thing too, like, I don't know why, but I keep thinking of like, like how because like I was saying, like with the psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever, and how they'll, put you in a trance or, a hypnosis or something like that when they're doing that. But just like I said with the lady on Get Out, and how she hit the teacup, and he went into like that sunken place. But see, they were able to do that, and they were able to manipulate him because he don't know who he is. You understand? So it's like when you don't know who you are and someone and other people do, you know what I mean? And they know this shit like this, what I'm talking about and things like that. Especially people who are into the arts or into dark arts or into science and shit like that, but they may have a sense of spirituality behind them, because those white skinned people in that movie, you know what I mean, they wasn't just in my opinion, they wasn't just scientifical strictly scientifical logical people. They definitely knew some things spiritual wise, okay, or occult wise, for sure, okay, which also was symbolic of that movie, okay. It was showing you occultic things and things like that. But anyways, you know, this isn't about the movie Get Out, but that was just an example that was coming to my mind. And you know, and how but it was like that sound of the you know, her hitting the teacup was like that trigger for him. So it's almost like that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I was thinking of too, like trigger words, okay? Things that can trigger us, okay, like the N word, but you know, it could be any type of word. It could, you know, in different things, okay. It could even be a sound. It could even be a smell, right, or whatever that is a trigger for us, right? It's a trigger for you, and it can put you in this it can put you in this trance, right? It can you know, put you in this sunken place, or trap you in a sense. But it's really a spell, you know. But it's like, it's not, it doesn't always have to be used for bad, right? Or it doesn't always have to be negative. That's what I'm saying. So like when we know better, we can do better. So the weapons that were formed against us, we can now use to protect us. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like translating, right? Transferring that energy into something else, basically. So you can instantly like create your own word, right? Or your own meaning and intention, like behind a word or something like that, or you use a word that's already created or whatever, right? But it has a lot of like positive energy for you, okay, and put that energy and put that intention into the word and reprogram your mind, okay, to almost like trigger, like that's your trigger word, but this time it's a good thing, right? Or this time it's more so to help you get up. Like I said earlier, accidentally, when I said get up instead of get out. Yeah. Now this is to help you get up. You know what I'm saying? Instead of falling in and sinking in and falling down, this will help you get up. So you can use a certain word, like for example, okay, like goddess, right? I'll use goddess, for example, okay. And when I wake up in the morning, or just anything, right? Or if I'm kind of in a negative, you know, mood, or something, or if I was just around kind of like negative people and things like that, or, you know, just whatever, I can, hey mama, stop. I can use that word goddess, right? And I can, you know, kind of like trigger it like back into my mind, but it's like putting myself in a trance almost, or putting myself in a spell, right? But it's redirecting and, you know, almost like changing and reforming my mind, okay? It's ultimately I'm changing the program. So those negative, are those words, right, and energies that was once used against me, now I have a word to now defend myself, so I won't be triggered, or I won't be affected by those words or by those weapons anymore, because now I have protection. You see what I mean? So those words, like for example, if someone was to say the N word, that word is not going to trigger me. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to affect me because I know, first of all, what it is, where it comes from, and it has no power and it holds no weight in my life. Therefore, you can't use it to hurt me. It's not a weapon. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. So it's like creating your shield. It's almost like creating your energetic shield. Trans. Okay? Change. So, yeah. Just leave it there.